Hello and welcome to the Musty Creative Podcast. I am your host, Jesús Noland, and I am joined by my friend and yours,
Michelle.
Michelle's here. We in the building.
I'm usually here, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I am always here.
Thank you for joining us today, even though it's musty in here, because we've been working too hard. If this is your first time listening to us, we are the Musty Collective, and we motivate ourselves to become better storytellers.
So, Stranger Things Season 3 was recently released on Netflix.
Oh, are we going to talk about it?
I hope so.
Oh, I thought we were going to do something else today.
No.
Oh, okay. All right, that's cool.
This is the official Stranger Things episode of the Musty Creative Podcast.
Awesome. Well then, let's start the show.
Okay, so if you haven't seen Stranger Things, do not listen to this yet.
Well, if you haven't seen Stranger Things, or if you don't mind being spoiled.
That is true. But it's such a good show that I would hate for somebody to get ruined, if the story to get ruined.
For someone to be ruined.
For someone emotionally ruined. No, like just for them to
Miss out
on just experiencing the story as it happens, because it's such a good story.
Here's the thing, though, and I to our musties out there, our Musty Collective, thank you for joining us for another Musty Creative Podcast. There are so many shows, so many movies, so many books, so many video games that, to be quite honest, for most of our Musty Collective, you just can't get to everything. And that's honestly why sometimes I spoil things for myself, because I know I'm not going to get there. I have so many other things to do.
Yeah.
So,
but that's why...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's why you need to prioritize Stranger Things.
It is a really, it's been a great series.
I'm sort of obsessed. I haven't been this obsessed about a show
Since Breaking Bad.
This a little more than Breaking Bad, actually.
Really?
Yeah, but Breaking Bad is up there, I think.
That's interesting. Well, we'll see how the show ends before we do any comparisons.
Yeah.
But so far, so good. All right, so yeah, so stop listening if you haven't seen it yet. Mm-hmm. But if you don't care, keep on listening, because we like you being here.
But we prefer that you watch it first.
Yes. But I also prefer that you listen to our show. Anyways, because it's 3 seasons. But anyways, you can binge it. It's on Netflix. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Stranger Things. It's written and directed by the Duffer Brothers. Yes. Or not directed, but written by and produced by the Duffer Brothers.
I think they direct as well.
No, they have Sean Levy.
Oh.
Sean Levy is the director. So great show. Started
2016, I think.
Okay. Because there's buzz about the show, and since it had this like thriller horror aspect, I did not want to watch it. I'm a baby about being scared. I don't watch scary movies.
It's so delicate.
Yeah, and even some thrillers I do not watch. But I remember talking about this with a director friend who was like, yo, and I'm not going to name drop right now because I'm cool, but whatever. And he was like, oh, it's amazing. It's a great show. You should really check it out. They're doing some great things. And I was like, well, I don't know. It had a bunch of 80s nostalgia. And at that time, a lot of things were bringing the 80s nostalgia. And I was kind of like 90s kids forever. Yeah. And I was kind of like anti-80s nostalgia. But really what threw me off is that I didn't want to be in something that was going to give me nightmares.
Yeah.
Like, I don't go to movie theaters to pay for nightmares. Mm-hmm. If you do, I'm not judging you. But for me personally, I don't like paying for nightmares.
Yeah.
So that's why. But then what happened? I think maybe you watched the first episode, or we were just like one.
I think we just
on a whim.
I feel like we just decided to watch it together.
On a whim, I think.
Because we kept hearing a lot of good stuff about it.
People kept talking about it.
And then I think one of your friends said, "Oh, it's not that scary," or something like that. I think maybe that's what happened, because I feel like if someone said, "Oh, I saw it and it's super scary," and like, makes you scream.
I definitely would not have watched it.
Yeah, so I think I feel like someone told you, "Oh, it's not that bad," and they have humor in it.
Yeah. And this is one of the first shows that I watched that had been created by Netflix. Like, I didn't get into, and I still am not into, what's that ladies jail movie or series?
Orange is the New Black.
Orange is the New Black. I never got into that, and so I missed the boat.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I've never watched it, and I never jumped on that train. And so once, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like once we watched Stranger Things, then I feel like Netflix, we started to notice more original content. It was scary, yo. Like, I was rewatching episode 1, and when Will Byers disappears, right, and when you get that first sign of the Demogorgon, like, he stops, he's riding his bike, he's like racing Dustin, and then like he sees a Demogorgon shadow.
Demogorgon.
I'm saying Demogorgon. And he sees like the frame of a man, kind of, but it's like a weirdish kind of thing.
Yeah, that was really freaky.
That still scared me. I just watched it very recently.
After you saw it.
No, and I was like, I still jumped. The first and second seasons are so creepy and scary. And so if you don't know the show, but even if you do know the show, let's just do a slight recap of the main characters. So it starts with like 4 boys. Right, so we have Mike, Lucas, Will, and Dustin, right? And they have this like great chemistry. They're playing D&D, which is like the heavy themes of D&D are used a lot in seasons 1 and 2. Not as much in season 3, but mainly seasons 1 and 2. And you get this friendship, and you're introduced to Mike's family, his mom, his dad, his sister Nancy, who turns to be like a major character. You hear about Steve Harrington, who becomes a major character. And then Will, as he's going home from their D&D session, which had been like 10 hours, gets kidnapped into what we later on know or term as the Upside Down. The Upside Down.
Yes.
This makes me want to rewatch season 1 all over
I
again.
know.
Right? And then we get to learn more about Will's family. So we have Joyce Byers, who's his mom, divorced from her husband, single parent, raising 2 boys. His older brother Jonathan Byers, who was a major character in season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Not as much as season 3. Big character arc, though, I feel like. Really, really awesome character.
Yeah.
And then we get introduced to 3 other characters who are really important, but not all of them get as much screen time. But obviously Elle. The girl that you see doing the power thing all the time.
The bloody nose.
And then Jim Hopper, chief of police of Hawkins, which is a city or town which this whole thing resides in. And then Dr. Brennan. He is the mad scientist behind the experiments of Hawkins. So
he's Elle's quote-unquote dad.
And he's technically Elle's dad, too, that we find out in second season. So to get us to season 3, basically what's going on is the government with Dr. Brennan is doing these crazy experiments to get into the Upside Down for some reason. We actually still don't know why they really want to get in there.
That is true.
They open it up and they're trying to get in there. And by going into this other realm, it's not our realm, but a whole other realm.
Yeah.
And it's the Upside Down because it's like our realm, but all like disgusting and dirty and painful and evil.
Yeah.
They let out these evil things called the Demogorgon, which is like the big baddie, then the Demi-Dogs, but then also being controlled, that we find out later on, by this giant, disgusting, like behemoth of a thing called the Mind Flayer, which is one of the creepiest creatures of all time that I've ever seen.
It's so scary.
In television or cinema altogether. Because it's huge.
Yeah.
And so for some reason, the government of the U.S. and Russia want to get in this place for some. I don't know why. I think that's why they still have to do. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but that's why we got to find out more about this thing.
I think it's cool how they set up this world based on this family that's affected by all this experiment. Because I feel like some shows might think, like, oh, we need to focus on, like, the lab and the people in the lab and them dealing with, like, opening the gate and all that stuff.
Right.
But I think it was cool that it's so mysterious that we still really don't know what's happening.
Yeah, technically we really don't.
Yeah.
We don't know why.
Yeah, and it's all focused on just the people that are being affected by it outside of the lab and just in the town itself.
Right.
So you're seeing more of like a human aspect of it, not just like doctors and people doing experiments. You're seeing more of like a human relatableness to it.
All right, so 2 more things I want to focus on, and then we'll get into season 3.
Yeah.
Is that we got introduced to 2 other characters, major characters in season 2. We had Billy, who also you might see him as the Red Ranger in the Power Rangers live action movie that came out a couple years ago. Great success, a box office hit, A+ movie. I'm just joking.
I was like, really?
Yeah, no, the movie was trash.
I haven't seen it though.
Hot garbage. I saw it. It was fun, nostalgia, but it was hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
Hot garbage. But anyways, and then Max, which is Billy's little sister.
Yeah.
And her and Lucas get together. One more thing I need to establish here, though. How do you fight demigorgons and things from another nether realm without your psychic, crazy friend who's like a human girl version of E.T.? And that's Elle. Elle has these crazy psychic abilities where she can like move things, stop things with her mind, crush them, destroy them, move people around. She's like I would say kind of like a Jean Grey from X-Men kind of character. Still really coming into her own. I'm not saying she is a mutant, but she kind of is like a mutant in that way.
And we don't know why she's like that either.
We don't know why it's like that. And in season 2, we learned that she wasn't the only one. There are others. And so her original name was 11, which is why it's short for Elle. Yeah. And so apparently there's at least 10 others, maybe even more after her, that have special abilities, these kids. Yeah. And we found out at least about another one in season 2. Was that 8 or 7? I forget what she was called.
I think it was 8.
Yeah. All right. So now that's kind of a catch-up. Also there was this thing with Steve Harrington, Jonathan Byers, and Nancy as a triangle. Oh, and Barb. I saw Barb in the first episode. Oh, so sad. But anyways, Steve Harrington was a jerk. Was trying to, mess with Nancy. Jonathan had liked Nancy for years. And then because of the events that happened in season 1, Nancy and Jonathan became close. And then Steve tried to challenge Jonathan physically. Jonathan beat the crap out of him. Like, man, that fight, I still go back. That was it was bad. Yeah. As a nerd who got bullied, I was like, yes, that felt good.
I saw a meme of like all the times Steve Harrington got beat up, and he's like bloody in every season.
That's true. That's true. That's a running theme. Steve Harrington still grew on me, even though he was such a jerk in season 1. But he really had a great redemption arc in season 2. Yeah. And so Jonathan and Nancy got together, and they're a nice little couple. The main couple, though, we'll get into in season 3. All right, I think that's enough. There's a lot more. There's really a lot more, but that's pretty much it. Yeah. Season 3. Where do we start off in season 3? What goes on?
Well, okay, so the mayor of Hawkins, Indiana, is preparing for this amazing 4th of July event. Yeah. And
I did great though. I actually liked his character a lot. Like not like him like I personally liked him, but liked what he was doing for the story.
And Mrs. Wheeler, Mike's mom, she's getting ready for her own party with Billy.
Oh yes,
because she is contemplating whether she should cheat on her boring husband or not with this young kid who keeps flirting with her at the pool.
Young whippersnapper. No, but she flirts with him too.
No, I know. It's like she was like wearing with each other.
Well, that's the nastiest thing though. The nastiest thing. Let me just say this right now. It's 2019. Let's have equality. If they had a show, and it was supposed to be like a modern day show, where a young girl was looked at like that by a bunch of men, people would be like, "That's nasty. You're encouraging the wrong kind of thing." These women, these middle-aged women, sitting up there in the poolside, waiting for this man to come on as a lifeguard in the summer. Let's just set the setting. Hawkins is in July, summertime, and Billy is a lifeguard.
Yeah.
Waiting for this man, this young boy, he's like 16, 17 years old, to walk outside with his shirt off so they can stare at him, and they put suntan lotion and wear the scantily clad swimming suits to see if he notices them. Middle-aged women. 16-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Reminds me literally of seeing shots of women, middle-aged women, watching Twilight. And the second Twilight with Jacob, played by, I forget his name, but you know, he would take his shirt off and he was really, really buff, looking very fit. Remind me of that. Disgusting. Disgusting. I'm appalled. It's 2019.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's where we get started.
Yeah, so she's like contemplating, like, should I do it? Should I not?
Woo.
Billy's getting kind of horny, driving to her house.
He's a 16-year-old boy. I mean, I don't blame him. But I do blame him because you know that's bad.
Yeah.
She's the older one.
Yeah.
She should know better.
Yes. And so she's like getting ready, putting her lipstick on, getting all pretty. Yep. He's thinking about what's about to go down as he's driving to her house.
Because you know how you framed it was like, oh, let me give you some swimming lessons, Mrs. Wheeler. And after, this is so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, but then it's derailed, almost literally.
Yeah, no, it really is literally derailed.
By the mind flare.
So what happens is Billy, he's had a little bit of interaction with the mind flare and all the craziness going on in the second season. What happened with him was that he was driving along and then he got some kind of weird vision or something, and he crashed right next to a warehouse where apparently the mind flare was rebuilding its body to mimic itself, that it of what it was and what it is actually. Never got to its full size of what it is actually. Yeah. But and let's just break it down here. The mayor's corrupt and he let the Russians come into Hawkins so they can do their research, and he got a bunch of money.
And they're trying to reopen the gate. And if they reopen the gate, the mind flare has a connection to our world. So through that, he was rebuilding himself physically with like dead rats and the bodies of other people. That was so gross.
It was very gross. Remember the moment where Nancy and Jonathan find that old lady and she's like, she had become corrupted?
She's just eating the fertilizer in her basement or whatever.
That was funny, but also scary at the same time.
It was freaky.
And I know some people were like, oh, this season wasn't too scary. But there was some scary scenes.
I thought it was worse than the other seasons.
I don't know. Season 1 still gets me.
I don't know.
Still gets me because it's new.
This season.
But it was scary.
Me, it felt scarier and more gory than the others.
But you know what? Season 2 had some scary moments. Well, we can get into more of this stuff, but the show doesn't pull punches the way it should in certain ways. And so it kind of takes away from some of the scariness as you get to the end, get to the climax of each season. Yeah. Because it gets scary, and then none of the main characters really die. Or barely get injured. Yeah. They did a little bit this season. They got a little close, but we'll get to it. All right, let's get to our show notes. We kind of set it up pretty well.
Speaking of death.
Yes.
Hopper and Billy are dead.
They are dead. I am really... Well, continue. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And then, and 11...
Yes.
Lost her powers.
Right.
And the mind flare gets pushed back to the upside down, and the gates closed for a third time?
No, it's closed.
Second time? Because didn't it get closed the first season?
No, it never got closed. They never got closed. They never closed it. Or they shut down Hawkins.
Oh.
But it was never, closed.
Okay.
Yeah. Sealed.
Yeah. So it's closed for a second time.
Closed for a second time. Yeah, they can't. They gotta, there's only so many times you can open this. It's turned into a Death Star moment. Oh, we opened the portal again to the realm. So you gotta start shutting that down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to say this before we move to our next part. Is Hopper? I'm very sad that he's dead. Billy, I'm glad that he's dead. I hate that character. I hate that character so much.
Mm-hmm.
He, like Steve was a jerk who was redeemed.
Well, he actually decided to change.
Billy, not redeemable.
Nope.
And they tried to redeem him, right? They got to the point where it's like, we see his backstory. We see how he loved his mom, and then how, she was kind of taken away from him. And we saw in second season how he was abused by his father physically. I don't feel bad for him. I'm sorry. I just don't feel bad for him. And I'll say this. He should not have been the one to have been sacrificed for the Mind Flayer to save everybody. That should not have been him. It was a nice moment, very beautiful, touching, that Elle was able to see what he was going through. And then she was able to just tell him and talk to him and kind of break through the Mind Flayer's enshroudment over him. But I felt no love lost for Billy. Max, the actress who played Max really sold it really well, but because he was such a jerk, it should have been Steve. Well, it should have been Steve.
But no one wants to see Steve die.
But that's why it should have been him, because that would have meant something. And he had a full arc. He goes from the jerk to, helping them out a lot and being like a mentor to Dustin and a big brother to the kids, to the savior in season 3.
Yeah.
It was all set up for Steve. Duffer Brothers, you missed that one. It was still a great season. They missed that one.
I feel, okay, for me, I didn't think it was bad. I think, I
just hate Billy.
Because there wasn't, he didn't have time to completely, change who he was, but he finally made a selfless choice at the very end. Something happened to him to where he wasn't being a jerk, and he just, finally decided to do something for other people, and that was, a really huge moment, I think, for him.
I just feel like they should have kept him the way he was, and it should have been Steve the whole time. It should have been Steve the whole time, in my honest opinion.
Okay.
Because they have so many characters now, they need to start killing people off.
Well,
and that's one thing. I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but from what I've heard and read, I respect Game of Thrones.
Because they kill everybody.
But they kill who you like.
Yeah.
They I like this character, he's good, blah, blah, blah. Next week, dead. I would have killed off Hopper in this season. So they did that right. And I would have killed off, I would have killed off Billy too, but not sacrificially. And I would have killed off Steve for sure. And I would have killed off one of the 4 boys.
No!
Yep, I would have killed off one of them. And because the show has to have some equality, can't kill off Lucas.
The token black kid.
Gotta get one of the white kids. I wouldn't have killed Will because Will's being saved for something special.
Yeah.
I would have killed Mike.
Dang.
The leader.
Hopper and Mike, so Elle would have been completely alone.
Devastated. Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Elle devastated. And then...
And powerless.
Powerless. But she's going to get her powers back.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, obviously she'll get her powers back. And then you go into season 4, and she's like, I got to find my powers back, and I got to kill the Mind Flayer. Because the Mind Flayer took everything from me. I would have... let Elle be a bad girl for a second. That's the real Phoenix movie right there. The real Dark Phoenix movie right there. Let's keep moving on here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 11 is powerless. So
yeah, but okay.
Second to last episode, right? That's when it happened.
What?
I think that was the second to the last episode. That's when it happened.
Yeah, but so Hopper did die,
Right.
and that was a big blow to Elle because that was the only real compassionate father figure she actually had.
True.
She only had this laboratory dude as her fake father.
One of the best things about second season was
Yeah, their
relationship.
Yeah.
Amazing. I wanted more time with them.
Yeah.
That was just amazing. And they did a little bit more with us in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
I want more time with Hopper and Eleven.
Yeah.
It's their chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
They're both great actors. They really know how to vibe off each other. Beautiful scenes.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like Papa. Ah, love it.
So like when Hopper dies, supposedly, because now there's like tons of like conspiracy theories all over the internet saying that he's still alive.
Oh, he's definitely still alive.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to kill off characters. I'm telling you. Duffer Brothers, I love y'all, but you don't know how to kill off characters.
In my heart of hearts, I wish he is alive.
No, I look, here's the thing.
Because that would hurt.
I want those characters. I want Mike. Well, I don't know. Actually, I could deal with Mike. I want Hopper to be alive.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
I actually want Hopper to be alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, there has to be consequences to your actions.
Yeah.
And you definitely know who I want to get killed off for sure, though. Nancy Wheeler, kill that girl.
Just because you don't like her.
Kill that girl.
That's
kill
horrible.
that girl.
But anyway, so like when Hopper dies, Joyce loses another boyfriend.
Yeah.
At the end of the season.
That's true. Is she cursed?
She's just really bad at picking people.
Y'all, just let you know, if there's a Joyce Byers that you see on Tinder or OkCupid, stay away, because you about to get dead.
Yeah. So like, okay, so my first clue of Hopper not being dead was the song that they played at the end of the episode.
Right.
Which is also the song that they played at the end of the episode.
This is why you're amazing. I just want to say this. This is why you're amazing.
Why?
Because I do look into details like this, but I never look into this kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like, you find the weirdest, most nascent, or whatever word, minutest detail like this, and it makes logical sense. Keep going, but you're amazing because of this.
Okay. Well, that's if I'm right, but
Are you right?
Thank you.
You're definitely right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so they played the song "Heroes," the Peter Gabriel version, in the first season, when Will Byers was considered dead, and they pulled out a fake body from the lake. And all the kids were crying.
Dude, that was a hardcore moment.
Yeah.
I thought that was hardcore.
Yeah, so everyone's like, oh no, he's dead. And we think he's dead because we don't suspect that the lab is doing anything weird or like trying to hide anything. And then later we find out that it's a fake body.
Right.
And that Will is alive.
Right.
And he's in the Upside Down.
Oh, quick moment. Maybe Joyce gets to the science teacher. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so then the second time, they play that same song again.
Right.
At the end of this season, the episode where Hopper is supposedly dead. And it's sort of the same thing. Everyone's crying. Everyone's like saying goodbye and everything. And so, so that's the first clue that I was thinking.
And they play the same music.
Yeah, it's the exact same song.
And here's the thing she also said when you first told me about this theory. They never repeat music.
Yeah, they never repeat
Unless
music.
It's obviously the main thing.
Well, yeah, the theme. But like whenever they play 80s songs, they never repeat.
This time they repeated.
Yeah.
So look for that clue, Reddit. And make sure to source us. Now, the other clue, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, so at the end, there's a cut scene saying that
Like an end credit scene.
Yeah, there's an end credit scene. Yeah, sorry. End credit scene where they're in they take you to Russia, and there's these Russian guards walking by, and one of them goes to reach for a door, and then the other guard says, no, not the American.
Right.
And then he goes and gets a Russian, and then they feed him to a Demogorgon. And so
that's significant because in the season 3, when he's fighting the Russian Terminator guy, they always refer to Hopper as the American.
Yeah. So then at the end of the episode, I was watching it again because I was thinking, could that be Murray? But then Murray came out with Joyce. Did you? I rewatched it and I confirmed that Murray and Joyce were found by the Americans together. So it can't be Murray. And when Joyce came out to look for Hopper, it never technically showed him dissolve like the other people.
Yeah, the other people, they got the shot of that.
So technically, he could have been taken by Russians.
Or the mayor.
Or he got sucked into the Upside Down.
That's what I think. Not sucked in. He went in there to escape from the blast.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And then there's also these weird, because there's this number you call. If you call a phone number that appears in the show,
Yeah.
you actually get a voicemail from Murray, and he's calling Joyce, and he's telling her that he has some news, and it's not good or bad, he just has news. And that number, if you take the coordinates, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but you take the coordinates, you put them into Google Maps, and it takes you like longitude, latitude to the same city in Russia where the end scene happens.
Okay.
So it's
And you heard that on their podcast, right?
No, that was on a article that I read.
Okay.
From popbuzz.com.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Maybe we'll give a link in the show notes so our Musty Collective can look it up too. Is Billy redeemable? They really try to shove it in our faces. Feel bad for this guy.
I don't know if it was just a feel bad for this guy kind of a thing. I think it was more of understanding the steps or the things that happened in his life that made him who he was. But it did. I don't know if it was supposed to create sympathy for him. It was just supposed to explain why he was the way he was. And then also sort of give clues to how the mind flare works because it feeds off of broken people.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting theory that you brought up when we were just like kind of discussing everything at the end. Why do you believe that is so?
I think they're going to explore that later, but it feels sort of like the Upside Down is like the evil version of our existence.
Well, I wouldn't say the evil because we have evil in our world.
Yeah.
But I would say it's like it's like a bowl of a representation. It gains its power from the evil generated in our world.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. And the mind flare is kind of like this devil, head demon Lucifer kind of character that feeds off of hate and vices and evil and pain and suffering, right? And so, do you take it a step further? If they're doing this could be too deep, maybe too spiritual. But what I see it with 11 is that the whole goal here is not just to beat and destroy the mind flare, but to find a way. I think what's going to happen in season 4 is that 11's going to get there to fight the mind flare, but realize that she's too weak to defeat the mind flare because the mind flare is a representation of evil and pain and suffering that we all generate. And she's not strong enough to take that all on. So it's going to have to take more like a spirit bomb kind of thing where it's a combination of her powers, but maybe goodness being generated from mankind to counteract the power that the mind flare has, as it feeds off of the evil of humanity.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's going to be this big cheesy moment where everyone's going to like
World
grab hands,
peace.
world peace, grab hands, and like sing Kumbaya.
Yeah.
But I do think that's going to play a major factor in defeating the mind flare. It's not just going to be Elle finding like her power to destroy the mind flare. I think for it to be a meaningful and deep spiritual story, especially a conclusion, it has to reach that spiritual element. It has to be a good versus evil thing at the end. And how can you truly defeat evil is by generating so much good.
Yeah, those are thoughts that I've had because I'm trying to figure out like why everything looked the same, like why it's just like a parallel world in a way,
right?
And how it's so easy to get to because you just like dig deep down in the dirt and you can get there. Like in the second season, I know it was like seeping up. But like, remember, Hopper was just digging down, and then
that's because the mind flare was
it was living in the.
He was infecting the land.
But then why is it that? I mean, unless it's a portal, but like the gate, they go deep down into the earth in the lab, and then they unlock the gate.
That's fair.
So I'm thinking, is
That's
it
fair.
part of our world, or are they going into another world, or
No,
like,
that's
what
fair.
is-
I mean, no, it's a gate. It's a gate to another realm.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That digging deep is one way. Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yeah.
How you get to those other realms, you go into a deep, dark cave dungeon.
Yeah.
11.
Mm-hmm.
She lost her powers. Now, you don't think she'll get them back?
It would be interesting, her just... Because it would make her sort of grow up in a different way of,
True.
like, she has to learn how to deal with things.
True.
Besides just using her powers to, like,
True.
fix everything.
Right.
Um,
They got to bring her powers back. It's a
probably,
major draw of the show.
I feel like it's just gonna, if it comes back, she's gonna be like 10 times stronger and all this stuff, I feel like. Or she's gonna understand why she has her powers. Or maybe they'll go through that. Like, they'll uncover, like, why she was like that in the first place.
But it's good. It presents a challenge, right? Because she is just so strong. Even in season 3, taking on the Mind Flayer with her powers, even though she has a physical limit, but she's just so strong. You had to add overwhelming obstacles to how to solve the problem with the show. And they also did a great job, as we talked about before, about storytelling in the third act and everything being solved by your main character. Did a great job with Elle, even though she didn't have her powers, being a solution to the problem, right? Even though Billy was the sacrifice, it was her tapping in, and then later on, like, confronting Billy and, like, bringing back to memory the pain of his mother, the loss of his mother, and reminding him of his true humanity. She did that on her own. So the hero solved the problem. They got to bring back her powers. It's such a major draw. It would be a little boring, to be quite honest, if she didn't have her powers.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's just her and Mike making out the whole time.
Oh, we didn't have them in the show notes, but for a second, please stop. It's just, I mean, they're getting older, so it's starting to be okay, but it's like, it just makes me uncomfortable because they're kids.
Yeah, it's weird watching minors.
It's weird, like the sexual stuff, like.
And
I mean, they weren't having sex, but just making out, like, and they're like really making out.
Yeah.
Like, they were like in each other's mouths.
And also too, like, it kind of freaked me out and grossed me out at the same time. But I've been seeing a lot of fan videos.
Okay.
But they're like making a montage of every time they kiss.
Oh, that's gross.
And then they're like putting this romantic music and stuff behind it. I'm like, I don't know if I like this.
No, because they look like kids. They're supposed to be kids, and they're pretty young.
Unless it's kids making the videos. But I feel like if it's like this dude that's in his basement.
You know, it is. Not in the basement, but it's definitely an older man. One of those videos got to be.
Oh my gosh.
You know, because I get it. You're a fan of the show, and you're a fan of the kids. You like the characters, but seeing them kiss, and kiss so much.
Yeah.
Especially like at the end of the second season.
And in an
kissed.
interview, she said that was her first real kiss.
Her and Mike.
Yeah.
Man.
So I was like,
I feel bad for her. I feel bad for her.
She said it all disappointed. Like, yeah, that was my first.
Well, because honestly, Mike, he's a goofy looking kid. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of the little brother of Dimitri from Cobra Kai. He's like that's like Mike's big brother. Mike, I don't know. We'll see how he grows out. He's gonna have to really work on himself. I don't know how he's gonna do it, but he's a gimpy looking goofy kid. You know, like,
well, he's in puberty, so maybe like that when that's all over, he will be fully formed. Yeah, fully formed. But you couldn't kiss Dustin because Dustin he had Susie at the end.
That's true. Oh, Susie! Oh my. Okay, see, that's where I feel like some people are like, this was too cheesy, too much comedy. But that was a good moment.
Yeah.
It was a really great moment.
And now there's a bunch of memes with them soaring through the sky on what's his name? Sebastian was it's from the Neverending Story, that big white dragon.
I need to actually watch that movie again because it's been so long. And then Lucas and Max are still together, even though they turn out to be like this couple that's like a generic like teenager couple. Like, they break up. Max is giving like Elle tips, like, I dump your butt, you know, like, but like Lucas and Max, it's just like, it's very interesting. Because, like, Max is just, like, she has a little bit of Billy's anger, too.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't deal with any crap from Lucas. And Lucas, at some point, doesn't deal with any crap from Max. And he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
They're an interesting couple.
Yeah.
And
he just assumes she's going to come back at some point.
No, he gets on his knees and grovel. He was teaching Mike about that, actually.
Yeah.
Which actually is good. That's a good thing. You gotta grovel sometimes. But Will. Mm-hmm. So that was one thing that was interesting. That we had two kind of coming outs, right?
But
Will kind of got outed by Mike about he said the statement. Let's talk about the statement.
Yeah.
He's saying, look, like, I know you don't like girls. Like, don't get mad at us just because we like girls and we have girlfriends and you don't. Mm-hmm. Right?
Kind of hinting. You don't like girls.
Or you don't like girls. Hinting that Will, and I was watching season 1 again, and remember his dad Lonnie was, according to Joyce Byers' testimony, said that, like, Lonnie is Will's dad, his biological father. That Lonnie would, like, make fun and tease Will and say that he was a queer and a fag. So now saying that what Mike said that he doesn't like girls really makes me think that Will's going to come out to be some kind of LGBT character at some point in season 4. Maybe they go back in season 5.
Possibly.
But
because I don't know if they were saying that or... Because I think one thing...
Or he hasn't found someone.
Well, no, because the way that the show was happening is that all the boys were growing up and finding girlfriends, and he still wanted to play D&D.
Right.
And so he still had the costume and everything, and he was getting pissed at them because they weren't doing the same things that he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And he's still sort of like, he can't grow up in a way because he's stuck in this emotional space where he feels safer as a kid.
No, another reason to kill off Mike.
But yeah, so like I feel like in that way, you just want to kill off characters. But yeah, but in that way, I feel like that's why I don't know if it was like a coming out moment or not, or if it was just like
it wasn't a true coming out,
or like you're still a kid kind of a thing, and we're trying to grow up and be teenagers.
I think it's a little bit of both, honestly.
Okay.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. It makes sense for that character, and I'm actually really excited to see how that's brought to fruition. Yeah. To be quite honest, I think they'll treat this with a lot of respect. Just like I don't want to see a lot of kissing with Mike and Elle, I don't think we should go in that direction for Will. He should probably still be a kid at that point, or a young teenager. We don't need to have a crazy kissing scene, or sex or anything like that. Yeah. Because they're kids. But then... I do think he is. I think he is gay. Okay. So or something.
But I'm thinking, like, are they going to, by the time they do the next season, are they going to be the age that Nancy was in the first season? And
but I didn't like that. I didn't like that either. People and... I didn't like it either. Yeah. I don't want anything.
No, I'm just saying.
The only thing
I'm
I would be...
not saying you have to like it.
I know. But the only thing I would be okay with is Hopper and Joyce. But even then, I'm not a big fan of having sex in shows, to be quite honest. So, but it's not up to me. It's up to the writers. Yeah. I really do feel strongly about Will. I think he's such a key character moving forward, not just because of like what he's feeling internally from like just growing up in puberty, but also because he is the only one besides Elle who has a direct connection to the Mind Flayer. And even true. I think his connection is even stronger than even Elle's. The Mind Flayer has a real connection with Will. Yeah. I think that's going to be super key moving forward. I really do think so. Because
he's the only one that knows when it's coming.
Only one who knows when it's coming, but also, which is a crazy little thing too, he's also the only one that truly understands the Upside Down, like Elle does. How crazy powerful the Mind Flayer. Like, he's the only one who really takes that kind of stuff seriously. Yeah. Everyone else was trying to frolic around and make out and stuff. Yeah. He really gets it because he was there and trapped there for such a long time. Yeah. Right? And he was also enveloped by the Mind Flayer. Right? So it's interesting, right? Because in second season, the Mind Flayer took over Will's body by coming into his mouth or something. Or he had still stuff in him from season 1 and then had to be burnt out of him. Yeah. And Elle had the Mind Flayer get in her body too. Yeah. So I wonder if she'll develop the same kind of Sixth Sense Mind Flayer thing.
See, I don't know, but I'm wondering if that's why she lost her power, or if that has anything to do with it. Like, because when I feel like, didn't that happen after the leg?
Yeah. Oh,
thing
yeah,
happened?
definitely.
So I don't know if that's like
He turned something off?
Yeah, he turned off the switch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So I just want to as we start wrapping this up, I just want to kind of give some speculation for what I think will be in season 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, and obviously, please chime in with your speculation. I think season 4 is going to be about saving Hopper from the Upside Down.
Mm-hmm.
Elle's going to find out somehow, some way, that Hopper's in the Upside Down.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to get there because Mind Flayer is setting a trap for Elle because he wants to kill her.
Yeah.
But I think now he's just going to want to take over her to get her power.
Oh.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, to go along with that, Will also go with her into the Upside Down. And he will have to develop some kind of extra power or some extra thing about him, some extra ability to use against Elle in some way. Because we can see what the Mind Flayer is doing.
Yeah.
He springs traps on you, right? He's going to be, oh, I have Hopper. And she's going to go and get her daddy, right? Dr. Brennan will be a part of this some way, somehow. Will definitely be a part of it. And then the extra thing, too, is that I heard a theory. This is not mine own. I heard a theory that's from Reddit, some fan theory, that the Mind Flayer could be number 1. Meaning that either Elle opened it up, as Dr. Brennan trying to make her feel guilty about, but really the Upside Down was created by the first kid. He's like the most powerful of all the kids.
Oh.
And the Mind Flayer is actually the kid that has
this kid?
A kid that has a crazy power. You know, because we said there's 1 through 11, maybe more than 11.
Yeah.
But we know there's 1 through 11, right?
So he's like taking on this form of this weird creature.
Like maybe because like his hatred and suffering and pain that he experienced, he opened up a new realm, went into it, and that's why the government was trying to shut this down. That's why they're experimenting. Maybe we can harness his power for war abilities.
Yeah.
Right, but they can't even control him and fight back. Because the Mind Flayer is very interested in our world.
Yeah.
Right? Is it interested because it wants to it did say what it wanted to do. It was going to kill Elle first, and since then, after Elle, no one would be able to stand in its way, it would kill the whole world. It would destroy all the people.
And it would explain it if, like, because maybe Elle became what they originally wanted from the experiment.
Well, also 8. 8 also did stuff.
Yeah, but, like, maybe Elle was, like, supposedly the most powerful, or that's what they were trying to get out of the experiment, and then that's why number 1 is like wanting to hurt Elle because Elle was the daughter of the guy, and it was like I don't know,
maybe it could be actually her brother, you know, because this Brennan guy, I mean, he was just a bad dude, assaulting women and having sex with them, having children with them and stuff. Yeah. So I think it could be her brother, maybe like her stepbrother. Yeah. Or our half brother, I mean. And then also maybe because he was training her for combat. He was happy every single time that she raged out and killed other people. Yeah. For under his direction. So I think maybe they're breeding her to fight against the number 1 then, if that's true. Yeah. If that fan theory is true. But I do ultimately think, though, Hopper's in the Upside Down. Elle has to go rescue him. And then everyone else will have to figure out, like, how they fit into place. Yeah. This is why they have to start killing off characters, though. Because there's too many characters in ensemble. It's a great ensemble cast. There's Star Wars is an ensemble cast. Great characters. I love ensemble cast. Indiana Jones ensemble cast. Yeah. But like you gotta kill somebody off. There's too many characters. There's not like 3 or 4 characters. There's like when you got to, it's like 10 people. And honestly, it was cheesy because if Elle hadn't lost her powers, everybody else is useless and gets in the way. Literally, everyone gets in the way. There wasn't a single person that could actually help her besides Will as a way of detecting, hey, the Mind Flayer's getting close. That's the only person.
Well, they killed Alexei.
Oh, the Russian guy. But he's not a major character. That's what I'm saying. Like, Billy and him aren't major characters in my opinion.
They're disposable.
I liked Alexei. Let's talk about Alexei for a quick second. Our Russian scientist, he was actually pretty cool. And I felt bad for him.
But maybe in order for this whole... Because I feel like if Alexei was alive still, they would have a lot of issues. Because he would end up going to jail anyway.
True.
And so they wouldn't really see him anyway.
True.
So they're like, well, let's just kill him off and make people get all emotional.
Yeah, I felt worse for Alexi than I did for Billy. What about Steve? Because he was down there in the Russian base for most of the time once they figured everything out.
Mm-hmm.
And Robin and Dustin were like a nice little team. And Erica, Lucas's little sister.
Mm-hmm.
Great. See, another now new major character. They gotta start killing people off. But anyways, what do you think about that team? Because we did see that too. Dustin was kind of mad at the boys. Will was mad at the boys. And we saw the forming of different teams. We had the L team, and then we had the Dustin team. And I'm naming it the Dustin team because he technically was a leader who got everybody together, said the plan, kind of led them all, in my opinion. And then we had the parent team, or the Joyce Hopper team. Yeah. So we had 3 teams. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna put Nancy and Jonathan in the L team because eventually they joined up with them. Mm-hmm. So, but they were kind of a 3-4ish team. But we had 3 solid teams.
Yeah. So I think I'm wondering if Dustin is going to be as close to the boys after the season, because it just felt like they were growing apart.
And also Will, since he moved away to Chicago.
Yeah.
You know who else is in Chicago, right? Or who was?
Who?
8.
Oh. And
8's
Elle is going with them.
Right.
That was Chicago?
Yeah, that's where they were going. As far as I remember, as Joyce's like adopted daughter, you know.
Oh, that's interesting.
Ooh, another thing that could happen in season 4 that they may do is a love because the love triangles work so well in the show. You have
because there's so many people.
No, but it works well to create drama and tension.
Yeah. And
drive characters in a certain direction and character development, right? We already had Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve. Mm-hmm. Then we had Joyce, Bob, and Hopper. Mm-hmm. And now we could definitely get, I think, because also because these 2 actors are close off screen too as friends, I could see Elle, Will, and Mike. I could definitely see that because she's gonna be there alone. She's only gonna have Will.
But if he's gay,
I know, true. But he could be in like
or bi.
He could be bi, or he could be questioned. He's young.
Yeah.
He could be questioning, like, he likes Elle because she's sensitive and plays games with him, right? And she doesn't try to blow him off for stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And so they could develop something, and then when the moment comes of a kiss, then he pulls back, or he kisses, and then it doesn't feel right, you know? Confirmation that he's gay. I'm saying, like, it could still work.
That would be interesting.
But it would be enough to upset who? Mike. And then Mike's like, you touching my girl, bro? I thought we were homies, bro. We ain't homies since you didn't do the DD campaign, homie. We ain't homies. We ain't true. This ain't love, bro.
And then it's just Lucas and Mike, and then Dustin's separated, and Will is separated, and Alice. So they're all separated from each other.
Yeah, I mean, they're growing apart. I mean, I had the same thing with my friends growing up. You know, they might even kill Lucas. You know, it's not about equality. It's about good storytelling. Lucas and Mike are pretty much useless at this point. Max is also useless at this point. Even though I like her character, I like her friendship with Elle, she's pretty much useless. And that's what that was kind of sad about the last couple episodes, that they're trying to find things for everybody to do.
Yeah, it felt
like because we all know it's Elle versus the Mind Flayer. Will's good because he can sense it. Lucas tried to do some things with his not a BB gun, what's it called?
Slingshot?
A slingshot. Useless. Max is like, I'm the tough girl. Useless. Mike literally couldn't do anything and was just like, oh, Elle, don't hurt yourself. Useless. Dustin could get all the communication array, figured out how to get into the Russians base, all that kind of stuff. Robin, the new girl, another great new main character, gotta start killing off characters, was awesome. And Erica was actually more useful than those boys.
Yeah.
So they gotta start killing people off because there's so many useless characters. They have no character arcs. They're not doing anything besides nostalgia because we don't want to split up the boys.
Yeah.
Split up the boys and kill them off one by one.
Oh my god.
Except for Will. Keep Will alive. I like Will. I like Lucas too. I like Dustin. I just don't like Mike. Kill off Mike and Nancy.
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
Well, one thing, because we brought up Robin.
Yes, that's right.
So that's one thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So for Robin's coming out scene, I wanted to applaud the writers.
Okay.
Because it felt very natural.
That it did. It took you by surprise.
Yeah.
It's not what I wanted in that scene.
But
it was well done.
You know what? I think what I was talking about, because it was in the Avengers episode that we did, but it was
a women thing.
I was I think
that's why it wasn't LGBT.
Yeah, okay, that's why it didn't make sense in my head.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, like, because I was complaining that the Russo
forced.
brothers were forcing that moment,
Right.
and it just felt like it came out of nowhere, and I'm like, why are they doing this?
And the writers.
Yeah. So I felt like for the Duffer Brothers and anyone else who wrote this episode, however they did it, they did an amazing job making it feel natural, and it flowed naturally, and it actually progressed their relationship.
Yeah, and it was a good major gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really they got me.
Even though you wanted them to be together. So
see, I wanted that. I wanted that Robin Steve Harrington love. I wanted that bad.
Yeah, but then they turn out to be like best friends. So now they're best friends.
Right, and it helps Steve grow as a person.
Yeah, because now he's learning that he can respect women without having to have sex with them.
Which is a big lesson for a young man.
Yes.
Big lesson.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say good job on writing that moment.
It's just, man, it got me because I was like, oh, she's gonna really confess. Oh, I was obsessed with you, blah blah. And he's like, he was like, I really like this girl too. I think she's amazing. And then it's like, no, you don't like this girl. No, you don't like this girl. And he's like, what? You're what? And he's like, wait, what? That happens? I think that was like a mind blown moment. And the acting was so good.
Yeah.
Because it felt so, like, I really believed that performance.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was fake at all.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was really great. I was really, really happy with that scene as far as what it meant. But I was pulling for Steve and Robin. Like, I think everyone was. Mm-hmm. I love Steve and Robin more than I love Jonathan and Nancy. Kill off Nancy. Kill off Mike. Kill off the whole Wheeler family altogether.
Aww.
Except for the little baby girl, Holly.
Well, then where is she gonna go?
She can live with Joyce. Everyone lives with Joyce. Kill the whole Wheeler family off. They're useless.
Everyone
I'm tired of
lives with
them.
a single mom.
I'm so sick of the Wheelers. So I hate those characters so much. Because Mike is becoming more annoying. Mm-hmm. He's becoming like what I believe of the X-Men leader Cyclops.
Yeah.
Where he's just like telling people what to do all the time. He's complaining.
Yeah.
And like Elle's his Jean Grey, being very protective of her. And it's just, bro, go away. You're useless. You can't even fight on your own terms.
I think in this last season he was just conflict for Hopper and Elle. Because he created that.
Try to create a wedge between them.
Yeah,
that's true.
And so when Hopper dies and she's reading the letter that he wrote, which was so,
she should have smacked Mike like, I could have more time with my papa.
She was like,
I'd be kissing your ugly face.
I know, but she was like, that letter that Hopper wrote to Elle.
Yeah, that was
at the end.
Yeah,
that hit me hard.
Yeah, and dude, we've talked about this actress's name. She's gonna become a bombshell if she continues to go up this way. But she really sold that scene. Elle.
Oh, Millie Bobby Brown.
There we go, Millie Bobby Brown did a much better job than Winona Ryder in that scene. But she can do it. She can cry on spot. But the direction for her, I wanted to, like you said, I think I wanted a little more emotion for her. Yeah. But I did think we did get some good moments, like when they came out of the Russian factory, and Elle's looking for Hopper, and then, when, Joyce is like, kind of give her like he's not here, and then they hug moment, great moment between two characters. And that's going to be awesome in season 4. Now she had her dad moment in season 2, and a little bit of season 3. Now she's going to get a mom. Because her mom is a crazy. Yeah. She can't really talk to her that much.
So now she'll get both sides of.
Exactly. I'm looking for some good moments. Because Joyce has never raised a girl. And she's not really girly herself. Yeah. So that would be some good character development for her. we're going to get some moments where I think Joyce and her can get frustrated because Joyce can yell back and Elle can obviously yell back and she has no powers now.
Yeah.
So she can't close the door. Joyce be like, get your butt back here. Like, you're not my mother. It's like, I am your mother now. And
That sounded so scary.
maybe one of those, like, slap in the faces kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be some really good, like, female-to-female dialogue. I think it's going to be really awesome.
Yeah. But I think maybe it'll help Joyce get back in touch with herself. Yes. Because she's been hurt so many times.
She's lived like a crazy person for a number of years.
That is true.
Yeah. It's really gonna, I don't know, it's really gonna set him up for an interesting season 4 for Steve. Mm-hmm. Because he's one of my favorite characters. I think he's a favorite character for a lot of people in the show, and I think the writers know that. Yeah. And so, for his character arc, I'm not sure like where else they could. I do know where they could take him in the sense of him continuing to get a real skill to realize he needs to maybe read some books and get some smarts and do something important and meaningful with his life. And I think Robin's going to be a good person to help him with. And since he's not going to sleep with her,
he can concentrate.
He can exactly. I love Steve, but again, I would have killed him off in season 3. I think he was done as a character. That's just me. You don't have to agree with me.
I won't.
Let me be a showrunner. Netflix, Duffer Brothers, you're looking for a showrunner who's going to give you some real heartbreak and tears. Let me be a showrunner for you. I'll take you to the promised land.
Oh my goodness. Of death.
No, not kill everybody off. Like, I think at the end of the show, Elle and Joyce will still be alive.
Just those two? Jonathan,
maybe. Because I think there's a lot you can still do with Jonathan. I like his character a lot. Mm-hmm. I would say, if it was me, end of the show, maybe we ended in 1 or 2 more seasons, I'd say Elle, Joyce, Jonathan, Dustin. Mm-hmm. Everyone else, dead. Or just so far distant, like they're not a part of the show anymore. Like we don't want any, like maybe Lucas's parents are like, we don't want anything. You're not gonna have anything to do with these crazy people. Yeah. And then he never shows up again. Mm-hmm. But that's the kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you have any projects you're working on in 2019,
and you want me to kill those characters,
no, let us know by posting on social media with the hashtag #TheMustyCreative.
Yes.
And we'll share it on the show.
Yep. And that's all the time we have for now. So do remember to leave us a review on iTunes and find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and our podcasting site, anchor.fm/musty, and also mustycreative.com. And now it's time to shower up.
Gives them a satisfaction they couldn't get any other way.